Hey guys, we are back. Another 0 hour on the road to Aries Amped. It's Tim Lloyd, joined by my man Jeff Hobbs. Today, Jeff, we got a good one. We got Champ joining us, Trevor Peek, ahead of this big main event, getting ready to take on the Death Star himself, Khama Worthy, at Aries Amped, August 13th, and I could not be more stoked about it. Jeff, you had Trevor up in your neck of the woods a week or so ago, shooting some good promo, and I know everybody's getting real jazzed up.
Yeah, man, I can't even find the words to say just how pumped I am for this shit. If you guys haven't checked out Khama Worthy's interview the other day, it doesn't matter which way you're leaning on this fight. If you didn't get pumped listening to one side talk about it, wait till after this interview, and now you've had both sides talking about it. It was an interesting, for one, getting to know Khama Worthy because we don't know him, and then hearing his take on Trevor and the fight. And I don't want to say, for those that haven't watched it yet, not anything personal towards Trevor, but Trevor Peek and this fight, and you hear his side of it, and then for us that know Trevor Peek, you got goosebumps thinking what this fight could be, man. I'm so fucking ready. Let's go.
Trevor, thank you for joining us, man. We're in the hard push right now of the training camp. I know you've just finished training, it looks like, there at Agogi. How are you feeling, man? We haven't talked to you in a few weeks, or a couple months, actually, since right before your last fight with Warren Smith, another big knockout. And for months we've been talking about, hey man, we're about to step it up. We're about to take a shot out there at a name, and it's finally almost here. You got a Khama Worthy in front of you, 18-9, UFC vet. Not just there for a drink of tea. He was there for 5 fights, so not just a typical washout, if you will. Very, very dangerous, and I'm excited for it. We'll get into what some of the things he had to say, but how are you feeling right now, buddy? We're right now about 2.5 weeks out.
I'm tired. No, I feel great, man. I'm just I'm currently staying at the gym pretty much all the time right now. So I mean, as far as training, the training camp goes, man, this is shaping up to be one of the best training camps I've ever had. Amateur or pro career. It's just I'm fortunate enough to be able to pretty much I'm just training all the time, man. I mean, I go to bed, wake up, train, go to bed, wake up, and just repeat, man. I'm just training my butt off, and I'm loving it. But yeah, but I feel great.
One thing that we should mention here, Trevor is our reigning welterweight professional champion. This fight back down at 155 lightweight. How's that going for you? Are you having to adjust your diet and training at all, or is it something where you typically didn't cut a whole lot to go to 70? So is it kind of natural?
Honestly, man, I've just been, eating clean and just training so much that, I mean, my weight's good. I mean, last time I'm actually like 10 pounds lighter than the last time I cut to 55 right now.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, I'm already like way ahead of the game. I about killed myself for that last cut. Didn't really know just a whole lot about didn't really know what to do as far as dieting goes. And I kind of starved myself, and I don't know. I wasn't shedding the weight, even though I wasn't eating much, like the weight wasn't coming off like it was supposed to. And I've been eating good and just training my butt off, like I said, man. And it's my weights. I mean, I'm sitting at like 6% body fat right now. I mean, I'm a lean, mean machine right now, fellas.
I don't doubt it. So, like Jeff mentioned, the Khama Worthy interview is up here on the channel. I encourage y'all to go check it out and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. But, he said a lot of the things that we kind of anticipated a guy with that kind of record saying, and that, I've already fought Trevor Peek. I've already fought Trevor Peek on the come up, essentially, as I was making my way up through. I had to fight these guys already. This is just another day at the office. And, and that is something that we weren't really surprised to hear. One thing that did kind of perk us up was when he mentioned, a lot of guys like to win, but we'll see who likes to fight, and so knowing you like we do know you, that's usually kind of the opposite narrative when we were pitching one of your fights. It's like, Trevor's that guy that likes to fight. You know, you're gonna have to dig deep to get in there with Trevor Peek and know that you're there for a fight. How does it feel, kind of having that narrative kind of flipped around on you?
I was honestly, whenever I heard him say it, I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, I'll fight you in a cornfield with nobody around. You know what I mean? Like, I like to fight, man. I didn't get into all this stuff just because I like to win, man. I mean, I genuinely I love fighting, man. I mean, I was such a wild teenager, man. I just all the time. I mean, I'd come home, guys. I'd come home like sometimes, and my mama, she couldn't even hardly tell who I was. I mean, I'd come in, she'd be like, crying. She'd be like, son, one of these days you're not gonna come home, and I'd just be just the cocky, arrogant teenager, and I'd be like, well, it's gonna be somebody bad, blah blah blah. I was just stupid, headstrong, just real wild. But no, man, he's got me figured out wrong. Like, I love this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, the crowd's my favorite. I'm blessed with the crowd, the audience. It's the biggest blessing, I've ever been given is my fans and the support. But honestly, man, I don't have to have that to throw down. Like, I love it. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things that I feel like I was put here to fight. It's in my blood, man. I love it.
I think a lot of his angle though was, I think I think that was kind of taken too literal. I think what it was is even kind of a small part of a compliment is that in all your fights you have been so dominant, you haven't had to show everybody adversity, if that makes sense. Like it's almost like he's been so dominant, we haven't had to see him fight for his life in the cage because he's just going in and smoking fools. And
yeah.
that maybe he's looking at it more like, I'm going to be the first guy that's going to give it back to him. And
yeah,
just,
I mean,
and let's face it, not many people have been able to give it back to you, Trevor.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like, as far as my pro career goes, I mean, I've pretty well had my way with, all of my opponents, but like, I've faced adversity, man. Like, I mean, they changed the rules in the whole state of Alabama because of me and Greg Hopkins. You know what I mean? I mean, we beat these.
I haven't had the pleasure to see it, but I've heard about it.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, amateurs could fight 5 rounds in Alabama, and after me and him got to hold each other, they was like, we're not doing that anymore. Amateurs can only fight 3 rounds. And then he made some comment. He's like, what are you going to do when you're like dripping blood and like I'm flipping you off in the cage? I'm like, like, dude, watch the Peyton Hughes fight. At one point in that fight, like, I literally couldn't see out of both of my eyes because there was a red film because of my own blood. Like, man, I've faced adversity, and the last guy that stood in the cage and flipped me off, he took a violent nap. So, I mean, yeah, to each his own, but I choose wisely how you treat me in there, man. I don't have a problem flipping a switch. So, I mean, if you give me that much more of a reason to flip it, it's just that much more you've got to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, play your game.
We've seen the switch get flipped, and it is a scary sight. I got to say, it's a different. You're a sweetheart most of the time. And anytime we cross paths, you are the ultimate gentleman, ultimate professional. But once that cage door locks, it is almost like a primal type of a creature that emerges.
It is, man. I mean, it really is. I wished I could describe, like, I wish people could feel that feeling of like, and it ain't just when the cage door locks, man. It's it's the starting the weight cut, especially when I see them, man. Like, when I see them and y'all are telling us to come face off at weigh-ins and everything, like, everything has changed. From
Trevor,
that
I got
moment.
a feeling if somebody looks at you funny at Walmart, the switch gets flipped.
It wants to flip, but I gotta mind my P's and Q's. But yeah, it definitely wants to flip. But yeah, man, it's just I changed for a few minutes. You know what I mean? Especially like when that cage door locks, dude. I'm just a different, like you said, it's like a little creature takes over for a few minutes, man.
Jeff, I'll tag out to you, man. What you got?
Man, it's just, it's everything we've already just talked about, man. I mean, as a fight fan, and at the end of the day, Tim's a fight fan, I'm a fight fan. We love our company, but we're still fight fans at heart. And it's knowing those things about you, but then really for the first time, an opponent on the other side that believes his side of how this is going to turn out. And for us, that's just what's making us giddy right now, because we know you, and we know that, and then we've got somebody else that's standing their ground and saying, no, I'm that MFer, and so it's like you're just gonna have this come in the center, and it's the most
and there's a
unreal
fairly
feeling.
decent sum of money on the line for both of you guys.
Yes, there
here,
is.
So I mean, they're
You know?
really that win bonus is a little different than when you're first starting out, and an
Oh
extra
man, yeah.
$500, but that I feel like plays a massive stake in this as well. I mean, you guys are going out there and scrapping for a substantial win bonus.
I told Tim, I'm not going to be able to sit down. As soon as I'm done and I come out, there's no way that I'm going to have my butt in a chair, because I'm going to have to find somewhere to stand, Trevor.
I hear you, man, and that's kind of like what you was just saying. Like, as far as that, he's got some confidence. You know what I mean? And I believe that what he has said, he believes that, and that's great. And and honestly, like with my previous opponents, like my past fights they've kind of done my fighting for me in a way. Like people's that I'm matched with, they're having to watch my highlights, and that's something tough. That's tough to watch and not get nerves. You know what I mean? Like if you're seeing all my knockouts and everything, like it's hard to watch that stuff and be like, oh God, you know what I mean? It's hard not to get nerves. So whenever I've been matched up with my previous opponents, I've already kind of got a jump on them in a sense, because they're worried that, you know what I mean? Like that my previous fights were kind of fighting for me, but with Khama, he's fought Trevor Peek before, so it's exciting. I'm looking for a test. I want to be tested. I mean, the Robbins fight was 32 seconds. The other one was 1:13. Like, I haven't even had time in the cage to really like just show what I'm really capable of. I mean, I've barely made it out of the first round. I think Ben Brewer made it like 2 or 3 minutes into the second round, and but I haven't really had just enough time to like show everybody what I'm capable of. There's only everybody in the region knows that I'm a violent fighter. I feel like I am possibly the most violent fighter in the region right now. I know I'm in the top, like maybe 3. And it's there's only a handful of people that really know like how skilled I am. And I'm excited that maybe this one will go a little bit longer. Like I want to get tested, and it's perfect for me. I mean, I've got an ex-UFC guy across from me. I've got Keith Peterson going to be in there, and he's one of the most famous referees there is, So I mean, the whole fight experience itself is going to be just like a UFC fight for me. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and I can't, I'm so excited about it. Whenever me and y'all talked outside of the weigh-ins at the Warren Smith fight, and y'all say Khama Worthy, and I'd watched Khama fight before, but I didn't put a face with a name. And I was over at Miles Peak's house, and I messaged you, Tim, because I told him, I was like, man, they're wanting me to fight an ex-UFC guy, and he said, well, who is it? And I messaged you, and then you said Khama Worthy, and I told him, and his eyes lit up, and he was like, Khama Worthy, and as soon as his eyes lit up, I was like, we got, you know what I mean? Like,
it got him excited. Yeah. If it got him excited,
we got to go with it, man. Like, I was just pumped up about it. Like, I'm wanting a test, man. I need a test.
Well, it was cool because, when we first started just hashing out the potentials here, because when we were doing this AMP show, we know that we wanted to have Trevor Peek on the card. We know that we wanted to put you in there with a guy that had a bit of, some name value, so, some credentials, being at the top level. And honest God, Jeff will vouch, Khama Worthy was like the first person that we came up with that we were like, man, that would be fire. Because
I had a yellow legal pad, and we had a bunch of names on it, and we had circled just a few, and that was like, there literally was like 3 names, and that was the one we just kept coming back to. Like,
so for it to work out,
would be perfect. This one would be perfect. So for us to reach out to him and actually, it happened. It's such a feather in our cap as a promotion that we dreamt it into reality, and and for Khama's side of it, it's kind of off the record kind of thing. I mean, he was just like, God, that fight's so far in the future. I don't really book fights that far, but we knew that long ago this was the fight we wanted. So we just kind of decided, you know what, let's just sit on it for a month. And he was like, let's get back together at the end of the month, and we'll see if we're still here. And if we are, then we'll do this thing. And so we patiently waited, and we didn't look for anybody else. We waited for him. And when he came back and said, all right, we're good, let's do this, it was, we were like two kids in the candy store.
It's just it's promised violence, and that's because like when I think of Khama Worthy, I don't think of a boring fighter. I think of a violent guy. Win or lose, it's going to be a violent affair. Obviously, we know that's the same with you, and you put those two together, and I don't see how this fight could possibly disappoint.
No, it'll disappoint one fighter, but it won't disappoint. It won't. It won't. It's not going to disappoint anybody that bought a ticket to this event.
No, I agree, man. Even if him and I wasn't even on this card is, y'all have done a phenomenal job of putting this card together, man. I've been going to these things since I was 15 years old, 27. I've been going 12 years, man, and I haven't ever seen a card so stacked on the regional scene, man. This would be other than the couple UFC cards I've been to, it legitimately is the best card I've ever seen.
Hey, we appreciate that, man. We certainly are proud of it, and I think that just all the way from the fight card to just the level of production we're going to have, the referees we're bringing in, the commentary team we're going to have, it is just going to be a next level affair, and no better man to top it off than the man Trevor Peek. So I know that crowd is going to be rowdy, and it's going to be electric in there. I can't wait for it. Let's talk a little bit about just the thought process going into this. Your manager, going into this with Ruby Management, Ruby Sports Entertainment, Steve Swedish, of course. What we talked a little bit about, fighting a guy like Khama, it allows you to kind of go ahead and show that you've got the goods to the top level promotions without having to hit like that middle contender series type thing, because Khama's better than anybody that you're going to see on the contender series already. If you did knock off Khama Worthy, there's really no need, for you to have to test yourself or prove yourself again on that entry level show. Would you say that that's got a lot to do with it?
Yeah, we kind of in the beginning of all this, me and Steve, like, he was kind of back and forth on it. Just, it wasn't anything about if I could really beat Khama or not. There was just some other things like, where do we go from here? After
it's the politics part of management.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're all on the same page and everything, and I really like, man, I want to see what I can do against a guy that's been to the next level. I've still got as much violent things as I've done. You still got that in the back of your head, like, well, am I ready? What can I do? How am I going to do against these next level guys? So I'm just, man, I'm so excited to get in there with him. I can't hardly wait. But I'm just, man, me and Steve, we're golden. I'm so excited to work with Ruby. I'm so blessed, to be a part of their team. They really treat me so well, man. Steve's he's like family.
Yeah, I was on the other side of that in the beginning, so I know exactly where you're coming with that, because he was, again, he's thinking of it from a management standpoint. But what I really like about Steve is while he had his reservations at first, he came around, and at the end of the day, what stood out to me with my conversation when it was time to close the fight was, I'm here to guide Trevor. I'm not here to tell him what to do. Ultimately, if this is what he wants, who am I to hold him back? And if he wants to test himself, I'm here. I'm supposed to be here to support him. And so that was kind of the closing chapter of negotiations. And it was, we're 100% in. Not just Trevor we are 100% in. He was right there with you.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was kind of, I wanted him to. He asked me about it, how I felt about it, and I'm like, man, I think I knocked this guy out, Steve. I think I knocked him out, man. And he's like, yeah. And then we kind of talked about it, but ultimately, I wanted to show that I trust him. So I was gonna let him, whatever he decided was what we was gonna run with. I wasn't, the Warren fight, that was kind of, I signed with Ruby before I actually signed the contract, but that was kind of already, that fight was already happening. So, the Worthy fight, that was really going to be his first fight that he really negotiated and set up and everything. And I just wanted to show, like, hey brother, like, I trust you. Whatever direction you want me to go in, like, let's go that route. And then he called me like a week later, and he's like, man, if I let you fight Khama Worthy, you gonna knock him out. And I'm just like, yeah, man. I'm not tripping out. I'm like, yeah, dude, yeah, I will. I'm not. I'll start you, man. I'll do whatever you want me to do. But yeah, I'm blessed to have Steve, man. He's a super cool guy. He really is.
Who are some of the guys that are getting you ready in this camp over there at Agoge? We know we just announced Logan Neal today in his bout, so I know you guys have been working closely in preparation here.
Oh yeah, Logan Neal, Torres Finney, Garrett. I mean, I've got several people. Me and Finney, we're about to absolutely kill each other up here. I mean, it's rough. I mean, before we
these
get to go,
fights need to get here before y'all kill each other.
I know. I mean, man, we'll about before we get to go and like get sparring stuff. Like Sterling, he'll come over and he'll be like, Finney, Trevor, like y'all don't kill each other, man. It's a war zone up in here right now. I mean, it's a war zone.
Tell me, what are the, not to look too much further past this fight, of course, but after this one, are you looking to get one more in before the end of the year? Are you looking to just kind of, ride out the rest of the year and train, or what's kind of the short term rest of 2022 looking like?
Man, I'd like to. Honestly, I'd like to stay active. I'd like to stay active, and just I feel like I'm better when I'm active. Just the thought process of, hey man, I've got a fight coming up. I need to do this, and this. It just having that a goal, even if it's like a few months out, just having that something to look forward to, something to push me. And I like having a fight lined up. It's a lot of pressure, and at times I'm like life's hitting, and I'm like, dang man, I kind of wished like that, like crap. But it always keeps me grounded. It always I always find a way to just do the things that I need to do, and it keeps my head right. I mean, there's so much going on in life at times, and just fighting between God and fighting, man. I don't know. I'd be so lost without the two. I mean, I really would, man. It keeps me grounded.
What do you expect like we've been asking these guys in these interviews leading up, like what do you not to give away your game plan, but how do you expect Khama to come out in this fight? What do you expect from him?
Well, I was expecting him to come in there and fight from the outside pick, but after his interview, apparently he's wanting to stand in the middle, and it's just, man, that's a dangerous game with me. You know what I mean? Like that's a dangerous game. Stand toe to toe with me. I mean, it really is. So we'll see what he brings. I feel like he's going to come to the middle, and I feel like he wants to come to the middle, and I feel like he doesn't want to take any steps back. But once I touch you, man, it's just like, what was that? Like, and then as things start to change, So we'll see, man. I hope he comes to the middle, and I hope he bites down, and I hope we give y'all a fight of the night performance. I mean, I hope it's.
We do too.
Well, the fight before you guys, just speaking of just kind of that not taking a step backwards, they've taken things to a whole nother level. The fight before you guys, Kilburn and Ring, Kilburn posted that they're both claimed to be Christians and believe the same thing. And God, it says in Scripture that God didn't put fear in man and to take steps back. So whoever takes a step backwards first is an unbeliever. That's in the co-main event. So you guys got a little bit of an act to follow. These guys are both saying that they're not taking a step back versus their faith.
Yeah. It sounds like somebody's trying to bait somebody into their type of fight.
Right.
Hey, let's take your teammates off the card, Trevor. What's a fight on this card that you're looking forward to, not a teammate? What's a fight on this card that you're really looking forward to maybe being able to peek through the curtain and watch?
I'm pretty interested in the Jacob Adams versus Corey Farmer fight. I mean, I think that's a great matchup. I mean, I'll be back there getting warmed up and stuff, but I would like to watch the Robbie Ring.
I'm telling you, I'm going to try to put monitors in the locker rooms. I'm going to try my hardest to put monitors in the locker rooms for this fight for y'all.
See, I don't know a whole lot about Robbie Ring. I don't know a whole lot about Robbie Ring. I've heard a little bit about him, but as far as watching him and stuff, like I hadn't just I hadn't really watched him, but man, Jacob Kilburn, like I was watching him over at Island Fights a couple years back, dude. That dude has got some stones for hands. I mean,
He's got some uncanny power.
he does, man. He's one of them guys like you would see, and you're like, that guy doesn't fight, and then he just out of nowhere, man, he's got this crazy just power. I mean, I was watching him stone folks at Island Fights, man. So I'm excited to. I mean, I'd like to meet him and everything. Hopefully we'll get that TV monitor back there because I'd kind of like to watch that one.
We'll make sure that we make sure we do our best to make that happen, brother. Okay, well, I guess we're to the point now where I'm gonna let you cut a little promo. Let the fans out there know why they need to be there in Nashville for Aries Amp. What are they in store for? Why is this an event that you don't want to miss?
First and foremost, man, everybody that I talk to is like UFC, and they constantly ask me, when you go in the UFC, when you go in the UFC. But guys, I mean, Khama Worthy has fought as high as the co-main event in the UFC. I'm giving you guys a UFC worthy fight. You know, I mean, it really is. So, I mean, as far as everybody that keeps asking, like, when am I going to the UFC? This is your preview to the UFC. So, I mean, and if you like nothing but violence, man, then come on out, because I promise it's going to be nothing but violence.
Let those sponsors and training partners, friends, family, loved ones, give them that shout out, my man.
I don't want to thank my sponsors. This is my premium sponsors. I got some more, but Noble, Jefferson's of Scottsboro, C&T Enterprises, Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, Tribal Vapors, Wright Motor Company, Party Hardy Inflatables, Scottsboro Small Engine, Hot Transportation, Tennessee Brown Bag, Sevenfold Roofing, Playtime Playground Equipment, Pamela's Sewing and Design, Crow's Butcher Shop, and S&S Service Company. And I just want to thank, Matt Harris, Larry Scott, Sterling Peace, all of them for, like, opening up the gym to me and, giving me a place that I, come to and just stay and get away for a little bit and get my head right. I always want to thank Jeff Powell. I always want to thank Jeff. He always takes time to work with me and sharpen my skills. All my training partners at Agogi, I'm so blessed to have this, gym family that I've got, and Ruby Sports, Steve, I'm thankful to them. And most importantly, I want to, thank God. It's just amazes me how far I've really made it in life, and I ain't perfect by all means. I fall short every day, but he's blessed me in so many ways, and I'm just so undeserving of the life he's given me and the platform he's given me, and I know he's given me a spotlight, and I know I've got some I got to live right and, do the things that I need to do to set an example for the kids and just the younger generation or people struggling with, addictions and stuff. He's given me a big role and big shoes to fill. And I just going to try my best to fill them. So I just want to thank God for the life he's given me, and thank, you guys for giving me that platform to come and perform and try to put on a show and maybe tell people a little bit about God at the end of it.
Well, my last thing I got for you, Trevor.
Go ahead.
One last thing before you go, Trevor. Alabama. I'm going to ask you, how'd you feel about that Mary Rosenbeck win the other night?
Yeah.
Son, I was fired up, but I was losing my mind. Mary, dude, she is a freaking tush hog, dude. She'll bite down and sleep, will she not, man? Dude, she's
that
like
was the reaction I was looking for.
Both title holders now with Aries. Very, very, very,
Alabama.
very nice. Alabama representing with that hardware. Well, Trevor, man, we appreciate you taking the time. We know that the training camp is in full swing. We're about 3 weeks, a little bit more out from this huge fight. And man, we're looking forward to it. You can watch this on Spectation Sports. You can bet on it at Action 247, and then of course your tickets are fightertix.com. Make sure you select Trevor from the drop down menu so he can get some of that extra scratch. And man, Trevor, the pleasure is ours. We appreciate it so much. We'll see you soon. And when you're done with fighting, then you have a job as president of sponsor relations for Aries Fight Series. Just so you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
See you, man.
See you,
hey,
buddy.
you guys take it easy. Thank y'all.
All right.